Here with Concordia Head Wrestling Coach Chase Clasen to preview the 2022-23 Concordia Wrestling season. And as we record this, not too far away from the first official tournament, duel of the season. You've had a chance to kind of get a little bit comfortable here. I know you got here in April when we officially made the announcement. What have you kind of enjoyed most about your time so far and the time you've had spending with the guys in the room?
Definitely just getting to meet the guys and get really close with them. Obviously, when I first got here, I hadn't really had any interaction with them, so it was a little different. But now, I mean, we're 3 months in, and so I've gotten plenty of interaction with the guys and just getting to know them and knowing what makes them tick, and I think that's the fun part.
I'm sure there are things that are new that you've tried to implement. Things I know Isaiah Berg's talked about the 6 a.m. practices, maybe a little bit different. How have the guys responded just to some of the things that are new to them?
I think definitely at first there was a little bit of oohing and on about the 6 a.m.s, but now our guys are getting used to it, and I think they're seeing in terms of grades, having that extra time for study hall, I mean, it's paying off. So they're starting to realize that, and I mean, right off the rip, they're getting their hardest challenge of the day done with and over with. So the whole rest of their day, after study hall, it's all up to them, and I think they're really finally adjusting to it. So that's good.
I wanted to look back at you had a chance to be the interim head coach at North Idaho College before you got here. You saw this opening. You had some history in Nebraska as in your college career. What attracted you to this position?
I mean, I was looking definitely to get kind of back to the Midwest. I think just kind of the mentality of the Midwest wrestling is a little bit different, and I also enjoy the way that people operate here. People are very polite, very nice. People wave at you when you're driving on the West Coast. That's not really a thing. So I was definitely excited to get back to the Midwest, and I think overall what excited me the most is when I sat down with the ADs and got to talk with them about their vision for the program. They want to win and they want to do it the right way, and so that really, that struck home for me. So that was the main thing for sure.
Wanted to talk about your vision a little bit. Certainly in the recent past for this program, there's been some team conference championships, quite a good number of All-Americans. What is your vision for maybe trying to get back to that and maybe even exceeding what's been done in the past?
I think anybody who knows me or spends any time around me knows that I don't do anything to take second. Whether it's a sprint or homework, anything, I'm always competing, and that's the same mentality I want out of our guys, is always competing. So we're not going to put a number on it and say, hey, we're going to be, we want to win the national title. Like, I don't think that's the right way to go about it, to accomplish your goals. It's the process, and so we're going to focus on improving, getting better, and just focusing on the small details, and hopefully win some championships. That's the goal, of course, every single time, but we're going to enjoy the process for sure.
Well, the NAI level is something new to you in the GPAC. What are just your thoughts on jumping into things in NAI wrestling and what the competition will look like here?
I love it. I think one thing that the NAI does that's really, really cool is if you have two of the best guys in the country at one weight class, you can take them both to nationals and they can duke it out in the national finals. I think that's really interesting. I think that changes the game for recruiting as well, because you're not just filling 10 roster spots, you're really looking to fill every single weight class as deep as possible. So I think that changes the game. I think that's really cool. I think year after year, the NAI has just simply improved with quality of coaches, quality of programs, and more money's getting funded for these programs. And so I think that the level of NAI has significantly gone up in the last 5 years in particular. So that's exciting because, the sky's the limit right now, and they've just been improving. So it's exciting for sure.
You have some veterans on this team. You mentioned Isaiah Bergs, also others like Mason Garcia, Jose Sanchez, Jevin Sidoris, Tavara Smith, Hunter Weimer. Those guys, how have you been able to maybe lean on them a little bit as you've jumped into this thing?
They've been absolutely fantastic. They all lead in different ways, but I think when push comes to shove, those guys are willing to outwork anybody. And I think that's really reflecting with our freshmen. And I mean, we've had countless talks with those guys in particular of, it's time to step up and be a leader, and they've done an absolute fantastic job. And so if they just keep doing what they're doing and helping build that culture, man, it's gonna be great.
How about what you've seen so far in practice? I think you've had a while now for official training sessions. What are some of your impressions of what you've seen so far?
Everybody's eager to learn, and that's always a good sign. Whenever you've got a group of people that are eager to learn and are willing to push each other, I think, with the Meet the Wrestler thing, a lot of those guys, what they're saying is the team's constantly pushing each other. Anytime you get a group like that together, good things happen.
As far as newcomers to this team, there's a fairly large group of transfers and new freshmen coming in. How are they impacting the team right now, and what are expectations like for them?
Definitely just showing the way it's done. I think Creighton's a great example of that. Two-time All-American. He's showing those other guys, if you want to achieve your goals, this is how you got to train. This is how you got to do things. And so I've been relying on him for that. He's not much of a talker. He's a walk-the-walk kind of guy. And so having a guy like that to be able to show these young freshmen and even some of our upperclassmen of like, hey, this is the right way to do things. I mean, he's a 4.0 student, does everything right off the mat. He's just a perfect example of what we're trying to look for here and what we're trying to build. And so it's been great having him.
Once you get into dual action, and it starts pretty quickly actually with a conference duel. You of course want to have some balance throughout the lineup, but what can you say about the depth that you're trying to build right now at each weight class?
We're very, very young, but I think that's a good thing because we can get our mentality of wrestling that we want into these young guys and have them living it out. I see probably projecting six freshmen and sophomores in the starting lineup, and with our mentality, we're working every single day, and we don't care who you are, how big you are, or what you've done. I can promise you one thing, and our guys are going to fight through every single position.
It might be tough to talk about expectations when you're still getting comfortable. A lot of things are new, but what do you tell the guys about what you expect of them? And maybe it's just more about the process you go through day to day, but what do you talk about in those terms?
Honestly, as long as they've wrestled their hardest for the entirety of the match, I'll never be mad about the result. The only time I'll ever be upset at a result is if we didn't wrestle our best because we laid down or we didn't push the pace and do the things that we work on. As long as the guy goes out there and he fights through every position, if he loses that match, he lost the match. That's okay. We learn from it. We need to cover those positions and stuff like that. And sometimes that happens. But overall, it's just fight for every position, wrestle as hard as you can, do the right things off the mat, get good grades. If you do those things, I'll never be mad at any result.